All right. So we rejoin our adventurers as they are having a few moments to themselves in between the arrival of um, Honorine and Hans and uh, Arthur in the wake of their descent down into the darkness, something that took probably an hour unto itself. Um, and the party is no longer separated. They are rejoined in the darkness underneath the sea in the the alternate realm of Bryn Bersail, sort of, because this is the unseelie realm and it doesn't quite carry the same rules and laws as the realm that is controlled by the Seelie. It is still a strange and wondrous place, and there is some time to get ready before the formal dinner that the Queen has invited them to. Uh, the more interesting part is the during the run up to the dinner, as everybody's sort of like in their rooms and everything, there's a continuous sort of uh, line outside of the bedrooms where everybody actually is of she, well, unseelie she, who have different sort of um, characteristics of different sea creatures. Uh, Approaching the doors, knocking, and simply like laying out written invitations after they're answered. The invitations are easily readable even by those who like are illiterate. It's just sort of like it's not a language in the same way that it doesn't require knowledge of like the Avalon tongue. And in fact, like the language that they've been speaking while they're here doesn't sound Avalon to anyone. It always sounds kind of vaguely like the language they speak naturally. Um, and the invitations themselves are invitations marked for different members of the council, inviting them as like dance partners for the ball.
I don't remember anybody saying anything about balls.
Um, that yeah, there was not a specific mention of it. No, um, it was understood that it was an invitation to a dinner, but also like a formal dinner. So
Are they um are there multiple invitations like per person? Like is it kind of like a dance card thing?
yeah, it's very similar.
Okay.
Um, the idea is that like nobody's inviting you like as an escort to the dinner as a whole. Does that make sense?
Right.
Although it's probably an expectation that there are going to be people showing up to act as escorts to bring you in formally. Does that make sense? But that there's less of an association. Honoring is kind of what honoring having familiarity with Charus and its very specific rules for like etiquette and stuff like that is it feels very much like a, a warped mirror of what she knows to be the customs of etiquette. Does that make sense? Something that is designed very much to look like what they know without fully understanding the reasons behind.
Okay.
So, um, Cat just called it Fei Eye, which I love. Yeah, definitely snaps for that. Okay, so we are not cold opening today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have everybody describing kind of like the costume they're getting into on like the way to the dance or like beforehand, what it is that they're wearing in. For Hans and for Honorine, they can manipulate what they're wearing as though they were in a dream. It takes like a sort of like concerted focus. Um, and uh, Arthur is uh, so Arthur is victim to accidentally waking up during this time. Something startles him in like the real world, and he comes out of sleep and just sort of disappears down in the bedroom where he was getting ready.
One of the
Just
rats landed on him.
I just said that
I
right
just
before he unmuted.
I just unmuted to say I imagine the meme just like ah And then he's gone.
I will
Oh,
say from
shite.
experience that rats will sometimes just try to bite your nipple just to see if
Or
it
they'll nibble your
if it's
nose.
suddenly food, or they'll nibble your nose. No, but I'm guessing nipplage is what ripped him out of the dream.
God. They're probably
Um,
better behaved than that.
Yeah, there's no real way for any of them to confirm at this moment, like what it was. Just a momentary startled Arthur face, and then he looks like kind of like something dissolving into water.
Glory upset at the rat slander.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to curl this in with our introductions. So introduce yourself, and then go ahead and give us a description of what your character is wearing to the ball tonight. And I will do the regular intro afterwards. And we can get started with Gav.
That's me. Hi, I am Bison_Stonefist. I'm a regular on this channel. I'm here 4 nights a week, which used to be a lot, but apparently not. Tonight I'm playing Gav the Grin. We'll get back to him in a sec. On Tuesdays, I run the Cyberpunk Red campaign, which finally has its full crew back, which is awesome. On Thursdays, I play Garrett Sakes, our resident leather-clad punk, as opposed to the paint-clad punk who isn't here tonight. And on Saturdays, I run/play in the Starforged game Starsworn. It's an interesting system. It's 4 players, 4 GMs. They're all the same people. None of us know what's happening. And currently, we finally got our ship up off the ground under its own power. So yeah, as for Gav, I put a picture in the Discord. By the way, check out the Discord. And I put that in the cast chat or the community chat. Gav is wearing a the sort of greaves that look like sort of like fish scales. Same with the shoulder pads. There's a sort of a harness that keeps the shoulder pads in place. On his, he still has his fancy Wakund hat. He's not ever taking that off. Around his neck is sort of a wreath of seaweed and other undersea plants with a red bow on it to match his hand. And let's go next to Glork.
Hello all, my name is Glory. I am here 3 nights a week, but I'm behind the production chair, in the production chair 2 nights a week. So I'm here tonight as honoring our noble woman, and I'm here on Wednesdays, producing for our wonderful superhero game run by Scard, and then I'm here on Thursdays for our wonderful City of Mist campaign run by Sarah. Honoring is dressed in full court dress. I love how Suyosa like walked away when it's time for me to describe this. Like, are you even listening to me? He told us the Unseelie are kind of allergic to clothes. The disrespect. So
I had my headset on the whole time. I was listening the entire time. Thank you very much.
good. You should be.
You all wanted me to have caffeine, I promise.
So honoring, she's dressed like it doesn't actually take all that much concentration for her to be dressed in like full court dress, because she has been raised to be mortified if she shows up to a formal event without it. So the kind of dress that y'all saw her aunt in when she accidentally appeared on Len's table, you know, she's got the panniers on either side, and she's got the ribbons, and she's got her hair actually like up and probably like in curls, and just think Marie Antoinette, and you're probably pretty good. But with like darker hair, because I don't think she goes for the white wig. Yeah, I think that's probably it. Let's.
Are there any nods to the environment as far as like the underwater, like any shells or like
Oh,
beads
for
or
sure. Yeah, for sure. There's definitely like her bodice is gonna be like scaled, probably like opalescent scales. There's probably gonna be like pearls dotting her dress. There's probably gonna be like twists of like sea blooms in her hair. 100% like full Fey Rococo. I love that. Yes, absolutely. Um, any other questions?
No, that was it. I just wanted to ask if it was because like I think it would be taken as a slight if there wasn't some nod to like the court that she was in.
Oh
And
no,
given that
yeah.
she and Hans have a bit more opportunity to like shape what it is they're wearing as opposed to the like wave of their hands that everybody else got.
Yeah, she definitely I think she would have like sea glass like earrings and just I think she would have done it up. Just um
All right.
speaking of Hans, let's go to Rory.
Oh, well, hello everybody. My name is Rory. I am here tonight playing the
Unmute. Sorry.
I'm
so sorry.
here this wonderful Sunday evening playing the wonderful Shadow General, Mr. Legday himself, Soldier Boy, Hans Ulrich. You can also find me here on the wonderful Dirty 20 Gaming Twitch channel on some assemblage of Wednesdays for Oracle Force, playing Graviton, whose arc we're in apparently, according to our DM. So who knows how that's gonna go? You can't do that while I'm trying to do my intro. You can't you can't make meme sounds while I'm trying to focus on my intro, man.
It wasn't a theater kid, guys.
Aside from the fun and lovely characters I play here with these other fun and lovely people, you can find some past, present, and likely future musical endeavors on SoundCloud, including including every single full audio recording of every live set played on my own Twitch channel. More streams coming soon. Now that I've kind of gotten a taste for it, I have to figure out an actual schedule. So it may take a bit to fall into a regular broadcast, but it will happen. Trust me. What outfit is Hans wearing today? I think after what happened last time, the whole minor possession moment last time, he's very much trying to be respectful of the place he's in and their culture and whatnot. But any sea element, any like things that would be otherwise vibrant, I think immediately just turn shadow black. I think he's unable to will color into his outfit at this moment for one reason or another. So he's in effectively a almost full suit of like ceremonial grade armor, intricate filigree. In this case, would be effectively like black seaweed filigree, tracing his arms up the front of the breastplate into a big. There's nowhere. I think would actually be into his own family crest this time across most of the breastplate.
Do you know what Hans's family crest is?
I don't think it's ever come up in enough that I've had to come up with one.
I was just curious. So
well, let me.
It's absolutely something that can be answered later too. So.
Yeah. I think it'll probably have to remain mysterious for now, because otherwise I'm going to like hum and haw for like 10 minutes.
That's totally fine. So a question because Draconeisen is in Eisen at least considered absolutely acceptable courtware,
Mhm.
because it is a living reflection of like the deeds of your ancestors, and like because every piece of it is like a word for some heroic deed by the Nibelungen. So is his like all of the Nibelungen, or is all of the Draconeisen that he can summon summoned, and everything else incorporated to sort of blend with it?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
All his real armor is there, and I mean, it's not smoking because it's underwater, but it is all his real armor is present with a little bit of that extra, like, all kind of illusory filigree to tie the whole set together, as he's kind
It's
of
all
like
been
improvising this in his mind.
that's all been grayscaled out of any color it might naturally have.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, same as the stuff he's imagined. No helmet. Whether that's an important detail or not, I don't know, but very specifically, no head covering or helmet of any kind.
Absolutely.
Sword is sheathed on his back just because it's large, and it's got like an ornate leather sheath, all that. And I think he's also got a like kind of tight to the collarbone black chain necklace with a very large black pearl in the center of it as kind of an extra nod to the oceanic environment. Yeah, that wraps
All right.
that up. Let's see what Runa is wearing to this fancy gala.
Well, first of all, I am Ruth. I am here on Tuesdays as Exit, some Wednesdays as Trek, Thursdays as Nora, and today, Sunday, as Runa. Have I forgotten any days? I don't think so. Okay, so what resources do we have? Like, how are we acquiring an
So
outfit?
this is the outfit is sort of like the one that was originally provided was done by basically the will of Marith, who understood like kind of the rules of this place and simply like garbed you appropriately. But the actual rooms that you have, like every time you like open a wardrobe or like a push open a pair of doors into like a closet, they are like liminal spaces. They don't stretch on endlessly. It's just every time you kind of like walk past a row of things and it's like it isn't quite fitting, it's like, oh, there's a whole nother rack of clothes right over here. And so and like there are just like shoes and shoes, or like drawers and drawers full of like shoes and jewelry and everything. Like if everything that was down here was like transported to Freeburg, it would be multiple king's ransoms of clothes and jewelry and
Okay.
shoes.
Henri lives
Um,
here now.
and whatever they try on like fits well, like, and
Okay.
kind of fits in the way that they wanted to. And also there's like a subconsciousness to it. So if there is like a secret desire to kind of like show off more than society might find acceptable, like it will be lower cut. If they are deeply uncomfortable in what they're wearing, it's going to be more covering. Does that make sense?
Okay. Well, let me tell you, this is a low-cut dress. Runa is using this opportunity to give Pirate Princess. She has a high to low, like it's pretty short cut, but the back is a little bit longer than the front. Now I haven't thought of color. Oops. But she's also wearing an underbust corset. The sleeves are nice and flowy. I'll get back to you on the color of the dress. after I'm done describing so I can think. So I'd say the back is probably like down to the back of her knees, but it kind of like cascades from like shortest in the front to down. She has the underbust corset. And she has like brown leather thigh-high boots, slightly heeled, that lace all the way up. What were you gonna say?
I'm totally picturing her having like, the skirt would normally be full length, but she's got those like skirt hitches in the front, like the pirate skirt like holders. So it's not like a high-low skirt so much as it's a regular skirt that's just strapped up in the front.
Yes. That. I'm gonna say the dress is white or off-white. And the corset is black and like a neutral green. Given where we are, let's say a seafoam. And she's fully taken her hair down and she's just letting it flow. I'm gonna pass it over to Rosa, unless there are any more questions.
So there is one thing that comes of like as she is kind of like stepping out for like that last moment of preparation. I'm just gonna interject. I'm throwing I didn't have it prepped beforehand, for which I'm sorry. So I'm just gonna drop it into the cast chat for now, and then I'll upload it and I'll link it so that everybody watching can see. As she is like preparing, that symbol that I'm linking, that's actually the Vestan flag. Okay. As she's preparing, there's like a one-shouldered cape that is like presented to her by a servant, like just outside. And when she kind of unfurls it, she realizes it is the Vestan flag, but upside down, which was the flag of the Revenge.
She's also wearing that?
But it's also an awareness that like her ship sank and she's seen drowned sailors in the waters like around the palace.
She's kind of just taking it all in.
And then she's like running her fingers over the capes, like she realizes the fabric is not like made for this occasion. It is the worn, sea-beaten fabric of a flag.
Is it the flag?
It is the flag.
Yeah, trust Yosa to give you a gift and then kick you in the shin.
Yeah.
Like just
If she looks out into the ocean, can she see the remnants of the ship?
As she's focusing, here's what I'd like you to do. First, let's finish this, and that's what we're gonna pick back up on. Okay, is that like moment of her kind of looking out over the water. And you go ahead and pick who's going to be next in this progression, and we'll keep doing our introductions, and then we'll get back to that.
Rosa.
How's that?
Hey y'all, my name is Sarah. I go by Sans on the Discord. I am here 5.5 nights a week.
Hardcore. Hardcore.
It's honestly too much, y'all. Just a little.
We appreciate the passion you share with us.
On Monday, I'm still learning the name of this game.
the printer's devil.
The Printer's Devil. I play Juliet, who is a student. You finally get to meet her very soon. On Tuesday, I In our Cyberpunk Red game, Current Heights, I play Hecate Magic, Broken Heart of the Team. On Wednesday, Mask Oracle Force, I play Nightwish. Somehow I'm the fucking leader still. I don't know how. Thursday, City Miss Campaign, Deviant Paradox. I am the DM for that chaos. And Sunday, or today, I play Rosa Nix. Because player didn't realize that we could choose any outfit. So the outfit that Rosa is in, it couldn't be any further from what she'd be comfortable in. It is the best I can explain is mermaid bra with shells that somehow magically stick on. She doesn't even know how. And a skirt that is very short, made out of seagrass and tied together with rope from probably a sea wreck. She is panicking. And I find it hilarious. I think who hasn't gone? Yeah. And send it over to Len.
Hi, folks. It's me, Bat Kyle, your friendly neighborhood menace. You found me because we didn't find somebody else this week. You can find me here on Sundays playing Len, the ass of wherever he goes at this point, Costin. And then you can find me Mondays. Why would you mute me? This is my introduction. It's my time. On
Guys,
Mondays,
I'm not pressed about it. It was funny.
yeah. Where was I? Ah, yes. On Mondays, barring any other things happening that make people sad, we will be doing the official and complete first episode of The Printer's Devil, Call of Cthulhu inspired little game with Sans, Kevin, our wonderful Discord dad, and Janet. So other than that, you can find me on the Discord posting unhinged food memes, and in Siosa's play-by-post when that gets up and running. And yep, other than that, I don't think anybody else needs to go. So back over to Siosa.
Hi, I am the storyteller for Shadow of the Wachtturm, the game that you are observing now, as well as the storyteller for the upcoming play-by-post game, Something Wicked, which has a go-live date. You can read about it on the Discord. I'm not going to spend any more time on it here because we have, a fancy ball to go to.
I realize I did not actually describe Len's outfit through all of that. I think I got a
yeah,
little
please.
derailed.
You have a whole thing.
Because people came at me, and I had to, I had to stand up for myself. Len is full peacocking it here in more ways than one. I dropped this in the the story chat, but he's got fish scale greaves, golden fish scale greaves on his shins, going barefoot otherwise. He's got most of a sort of skirt, kind of Roman inspired, but instead of the leather, studded leather dangly bits, it's pretty much metallic seagrass, giant sea kelp, whatever you want to call it. He's got a gladiator sort of style strap across his chest with a single pauldron and the covered arm, also in gold, and some black leather. Oh, we got the wheel of change. Nice. And just because he's feeling like flossing, he's got a big headdress with a mix of gold feathers and gold seagrass and black feathers, purple feathers, a little bit of tarnished silver, and if they allow it, he's got a big old gold trident because it's almost a spear. It's a spear with extra little bits. And if they don't allow it, well, in his mind, he's still got it with him. And that's Len now. Oh, and of course he's got the little Speedo very snug Speedo.
And I just realized I'm muted. So, all right, I am Siosa. I am the GM of Shadow of the Wachtturm here on Sundays, as well as a play-by-post game, something wicked that is getting started very soon. And I may have some more information about that at our next game, because we should have started by that point. You can find me on the Discord. I'm otherwise allergic to social media. So let me get us rolling. So thank you, everyone, and welcome to the Shadow of the Wachtturm. Our producer tonight is one of the moderators of Dirty 20 Gaming, the delightful and compassionate Gloriosa. Our lore master for the series is the beautiful and benevolent Syndra. Before we get started, I want to give a content warning. While the spirit of Seven Sea is swashbuckling adventures and shadowy intrigue, the story will deal with mature themes, including death, loss, suicide, and grief. Eisen, our setting, is recovering from a 30-year civil war over religious differences. It may get dark sometimes, and there's no shame in bowing out if it's not a place your head can go at the moment. So, without further ado, I'm going to roll us into the start at that point, and Runa looking out into the ocean and focusing all of the energy that's been trained by sorcery over and again. And particularly, I think we talked last time about how the first rune that really came naturally to her was Gateway, and the ability to kind of see across the water to act as the scout of the ship, while her mother's powers were reserved for command of the skies and storms. And while she's not actually invoking the rune, that same kind of focus seems to have a place there. And as she looks out over the water, here's what I'm going to have you do: is I'm going to have you roll your resolve and your gateway, but you're not actually like activating your rune. Does that make sense? It's more just a reflection of the focus that you normally utilize as you're looking.
$44.
So we've detailed a lot of the people that were, in some degree, the people that were on the ship that kind of like made up her found family. But there was always more. There was always like, a couple dozen extra sailors who'd signed on to one village and survived like, a crew or two before being eaten by a siren or deciding that maybe the pirating life wasn't for them. And you know what I'm saying? So when she looks out, she sees not just the Revenge, but like the bottom of the ocean of like the battle site in particular, and like the two full-sized galleons that the Revenge took with them, even in their last moments of being outgunned and outmatched. And she sees the crew, like she doesn't see like any ghosts of sailors around any of the ships. Does that make sense? Because all of those ghosts are gathered around the palace itself. And as she kind of focuses, like seeing and trying to like look for familiar faces and everything, the have a there is somebody that she knows for a fact. Kavi said that Red was part of the group that tried to kill Jordan, right? And as she's looking, he did not go down with the ship, and yet suddenly she can kind of see him front and center in her focus, like a ghostly version of him standing just outside of like the barriers of the palace. Does that make sense? Red is a huge man by Western standards. He stands just as tall as Gav is. He has a certain he embodied for her a lot of what it was to be like a vested man, the kind of like mix of like savagery and kindness. Like in one moment he could absolutely command anybody on the ship and bring them to heel, and he was the sailor that Ingvild was not. He understood how the ship functioned as like an object a lot better than she did, and what was necessary. But he was also, she remembers, like the most savage fighter that she'd seen, at least at a young age. Over time, she came to understand that like there were others that were more gifted because they had like more training, but nobody matched Red's pure ferocity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So she sees him, and he smiles at her, like from beyond the waters. Um, and she can kind of see through him. He's ephemeral. He's uh, ghostly. Um, and his attention is suddenly sort of like distracted as one of the she from in one of the unseelie from inside the palace like swims out towards him and simply offers him a hand, and he puts his into it, and the seelie draws him through the walls of the palace inside.
As he smiles at her, she like it's melancholy because she knows he's dead, but she's so happy to see him.
And she's he's outside like of the palace, like he's like on the far edges of it. I just dropped a picture of Red into the Roll20. And the she that is with him sort of like looks him up and down, and his clothes kind of they clean a little bit. Like he's still very much dressed like a pirate, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And not only that, but dressed like a pirate who had been in a battle right before dying. So like, but a lot of that is like sort of toned down. Is like wild hair is sort of like pulled back and into a ponytail. And then she sees the she speaking silently to him, and he just kind of like nods. And when Runa comes out of the bedroom, the ghost of Red is there, like standing next to the one that had been bearing the flag. And he says nothing, but he offers her an elbow, so as to be the one to escort her to the ball and to the dance.
With a big smile, she just gives a polite bow and takes his arm.
So and he begins like the procession of like leading Runa in towards everything.
Still ghostly, I assume. Is there like contact?
There's like a sense, like she thinks with like a minimal effort she could push completely through him. Like she could walk through him without an effort, but there's enough there that she can kind of hang her hand on if she wishes to. Does that make sense? So everybody else, as they come out, they have somebody there to escort them. Hans has a beautiful femme presenting she who looks like black as a manta ray. Like it looks like that's like her actual skin tone of choice, which matches his armor and everything. Gav has she woman that has 6 legs and large like crab pincers, an absolutely like feminine like face and body and stuff like that, but she like fully offers a pincer to him to, like in the same way somebody might offer a hand, and like turns her waist sideways so she can walk sideways down the hall with him. Len and Rosa are met by a pair of twins that are both sort of like androgynous, and they're not presenting as like masc or femme in any real way. Instead, they look like a matching pair of like tropical fish. Their colors are slightly different, but they're like really like bright and vibrant. And they move to like escort Len and Rosa like at the same time, as a subtle sort of indication almost to anybody observing that these two are together, but they're still getting the same treatment as everybody else. Does that make sense? And Honorine comes up last, and has probably the most, I don't want to say like ostentatious, does that make sense? But like the armor that the she knight who comes to her is wearing is like conch shells and sea urchins. It's like incredibly like spiny and colorful and large and like full of personality. But like none of it is like pointed dangerously at her. Does that make sense? Like the urchins are almost like a cloak of feathers or something similar. Does that make sense? Um, and the and each of them, they all have like their own personalities as they walk. The manta is like almost completely soundless. You know what I'm saying? It has like a smooth and graceful sense of like guiding hands along. Red is simply like smiling at Runa, and she can see in his eyes, like just kind of like before the doors of like the ballroom itself. He stops up, and she can see like a glimmer in his eyes as he like just touches the side of her face and presses his forehead against hers. Um, and she doesn't have to like hear him say anything. If he was fully alive and capable of speaking, he might not say anything at this moment anyway, because the kind of person he was the one who would like instill he was proud of you by actions and not by just saying it. Does that make sense? He, the first time she caught a fish on her own, like, uh, he didn't say anything of pride to her, but when somebody else teased about how small it was, he immediately like laid into them about like, I remember the first fish you caught. We couldn't even fit it into his like it would have been swallowed up by a sardine, and that person went away like red faced and whatnot. Does that make sense? But it was never like a
Yeah.
direct to her, you did well. That was
Yeah.
just not his style. Um, but he just kind of like presses his forehead against hers, and then as the doors open to like the actual ballroom itself, there's like instruments that are being played by a vast array of like sea creatures that are playing what is very much like an organized waltz. So anybody who has a noble skill is going to be fine here. They don't need to roll. But you can roll. So it's basically just like a target number 10 finesse roll here to like not embarrass yourself while doing this dance. Does that make sense? The If you hit a target number of 30 or higher, or like 30 and call raises, you get a drama die +5 for every drama die that you make. If you shoot for that and don't make it, you will lose a drama die. Also, if you don't make a 10, you will lose a drama die. This is the nature of the she realm. Like, small things matter and affect fate in strange ways. So it's a 10 to just break even. 30 will get you a drama die. Calling raises on top of a 30 will get you a raise for every 2, or get you a drama die for every 2 raises you call.
So you
But
said
that's
it
collectively 30, 40, 50, etc.
wits or panache?
Oh, sorry. Actually, that is correct. It should be panache and not finesse. Panache and the noble skill.
Can I assume all of us have to roll? Can I use appearance?
Yes, appearance does work on this.
Well, what about performer? Is
Performer.
performer does it have to be?
I will let you use half the normal number of dice.
And
Okay.
So if you have 2, you get 1. If you have 1, you still get 1.
is stunning 2 or 3 unkept dice?
2.
It's unkept.
I'm asking about the number.
Oh, 2.
Okay.
So, wait, if you have stunning and dangerous beauty, then how much is it?
Dangerous beauty only works on seduction rolls. Stunning just gives you. Yeah.
What if we're trying to seduce the entire Sealy?
Roll to seduce the court.
Roll to seduce the court, baby.
Afraid it does not work in that context, although I appreciate the effort.
Okay, that's fair.
The enthusiasm.
To clarify quickly, I'm good, right?
If you
I don't have
if you
to...
got a 10, you're good.
No, I mean, like, because I have nobility technically.
Do you have the noble skill?
Oh, right, the skill. Let me double check. I don't think I do actually.
The first time I rolled, I didn't roll correctly, and I got an 11. After I rolled things, I got a 43.
Nice.
Disregard. I don't have the noble skill. You said it's
Panache.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I was not fully present for a moment there.
All right, we're gonna aim for 30 here. and hope for the best.
Nice.
By the skin of my teeth. 31.
All right, so that's going to be a bonus drama die to Sans, a bonus drama die to Len.
So,
Gav
Power
get a
couple.
0. Ruth with neither she nor her dance partner know the moves. You know what I'm saying? So like Red just sort of without really thinking about it drops into like kind of like a deck jig. Do you know what I'm saying? The kind of thing like when you're about to get into port and everybody's like celebrating and stuff like that. And Runa just probably by reflex is like, oh yeah, this is what we're doing now. But it is not the dress. It is not the dance for this occasion. And after just like a few withering stares, like Red also looks a little like, oh, we didn't do that right. Have offended the locals.
okay.
But
So
he,
sorry.
so you'll lose a drama die from that. It's not going to be the only opportunity of the night
What's
to gain
that?
one, though.
What the fuck
Okay.
is that?
Ooh.
I was
Don't
like,
do that. Because think about the ones who had no chance to get that.
what?
I rolled an 8.
No, I was
That
looking
is
at my
beautiful.
roll and I was like, what the fuck
That
is
is
that?
fair. That is 7 dice.
Yeah.
I understand.
Wait. Quick question. Len, I see that you rolled 5k5. Were you rolling
Oh,
your
was it?
appearance? Yeah. So I don't think you're going to get that 31.
Oh no.
It'll still be 4K4. I have a chance. I thought I got that
Or
2.
5 keep
'cause I've
4?
got-
You'll get your appearance, and you're using your panache on this.
Yes.
So that would be 5 keep 3.
Oh, 5 keep 3. Whoops.
So you can just drop the 1 and the 3, but that does sadly put you below 30.
Hey,
There's
I
no
rolled
penalty
snake
for that.
eyes. I should be able to roll
Okay.
again.
Whoops.
I've got no
It's
bonuses, so
Okay, but you're
yeah.
you're muddling through. Gav is also dancing with a crab who's like, okay, box step is very important because they apparently make sharp right turns because they're dancing with the crab. So
3
Sans
times
is
the
the only
chance of
one.
stepping on toes.
I've got a funny
Yeah.
detail. He was dead for 4 years. He missed about 4 years of the evolution of dance.
So yeah, and Honorine, I'm thinking, given her natural panache, it's a large, like the knight in the clinking conch shell armor is just really distracting for her, as well as the occasional like poison sea urchin tip that like comes a little dangerously close to her face. So we have a net -1 and a net +1 for the drama dice. So that's I will allow while here in the court the like transfer of drama dice for good rolls and bad rolls. Does that make sense? If you're +1, you can go and give somebody else a -1. But there are going to be things that happen as a result of that happening. Does that make sense? And I'm not going to go into the details of what they are.
Stop.
I'm
What did
simply
you
saying
get?
it's allowed and it is Rose's choice.
I just think it's funny.
It just came out while I was going through the deck. Alongside the Emperor.
What
Who
did you
knows
get
what that
along
means?
with the Emperor?
I got the Emperor and the Tower at the same time.
Why is it always the tower?
I
Because it's
don't
the
know.
shadow of the Wachtturm. This entire story is about a tower.
Yeah.
Yep. I was about to say. It's kind of our whole
All right.
thing.
All right. So, Sarah, let me know, is Rosa keeping her drama die or is she gifting it to Runa?
She's gonna give it to Runa.
You didn't
Okay, so
have to.
there is an actual like thing that is happening, which is like, there's the moment of kind of like faux pas and stuff like that. But then there's a moment that follows, which is like an actual sort of like father-daughter dance that never got to happen. Does that make sense? Which for all of the missteps and all of the sort of like, like awkwardness of it, the sheer emotion of it catches the she who are watching off guard. Does that make sense? It's something that like an opportunity that's only had because of the journey to this place.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? And afterwards, he kind of like, he steps back, he kind of brushes the cape that's on her shoulder, flares it out just a little bit to kind of show everybody who she is. And then he steps back into the gallery along with all of the other group of people who came and accompanied them, as like guests and whatnot, and joins them for like the viewing of the dinner and watching everything tonight.
So he's still here. He's just not. We're just not dancing
Yes.
anymore.
Yeah, it's just the dance that's over. He's still here. He's still watching.
Okay.
And you kind of understand that like whatever they are to the people of the She, like Red is a commoner who's been specifically allowed to be here for the night by virtue of room.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
As a treat.
And as like everybody's kind of like settling back from dancing, doing some like formal thanks to the people that they danced with, Margot and Hans Upman come in. Both are kind of like bedecked appropriately. Hans is, I think I'm going to actually require a wit and craft roll to just sort of get in a sense of like what is going through his mind. So anybody with a craftsman skill, that's Hans's calling, that's his identity, you know what I'm saying? So it's the most applicable to him.
What am I rolling with craftsman?
Everybody who wants to like kind of size him up can roll their wits with it to just get a sense of like
okay.
where he's at in the wake
21?
of everything. Yeah, that's.
I don't think I have the required skills.
40.
I just did wits.
Yeah, if you don't have it, then it's just wits. Oh wow, damn.
No.
Damn, 2 double exploding 10s.
Holy.
Almost to a third.
No craftsman for me.
Yep.
We all want to know what he's thinking. What is this man thinking?
What is going on?
Yeah. Okay.
I only got a 27.
Okay. So, but like everybody looks and, you know, like I was only setting the target number of 15, but I'm going to give some extra info to Len and to Ruth because they both like went above, and in the moment of kind of like seeing him again, not sleeping, not, you know, after I think Rosa having had the most insight into like what had happened to him before he was here. I don't know if she spent the time to like share that information with everybody, like while they were in the bedrooms and stuff, like what she saw about Upman and its past.
Yeah, she would have at least given them like clip notes.
So he's vested, right?
Well,
Or
he
was he
was.
with-
Vendel is like a cultural thing. So like choosing to be Vendel, you know, any Vestan can become Vendel at any point.
Right.
So, but yeah, he was a Vestan. He was a Vestan craftsman who became a Vendel after seeing his family butchered by Vestan raiders. Not your family. Like,
Okay.
there are a lot of other Vestan raiders besides.
I know. I was just like, ugh. I hope
Every
not.
crime ever committed by the Vested was ruined his
No, no,
family.
no, no, no. It was just concern of it being the case. I know that.
Yeah. So, and so all of you can see that he's harrowed. Does that make sense? Like, he's absolutely somebody who just got a major gut punch and is now like now dress up and wear like finery and come to a noble's court. But like right now, he does not have it in him to be enraged. Does that make sense? Like, although it could tip there, is what Ruth and Len can both really see. Does that make sense? He understands that he's being. You were about to ask a question, Lori?
Yeah, I was wondering if Hans and Honorine have any context for like why he looks gut punched. Like, I don't think they saw him among his family.
Oh, I don't think they did. No. I think they just see he looks like he's been through hell. Does that make sense? Like, he looks like he's been through hell and put in fine clothes, and Len and Ruth can both very much tell that like Margot is keeping him upright. Does that make sense? He's leaning on her enough that he probably would be stumbling without her. Does that
Len will
make
go
sense?
over and help out.
Yeah, Honoриne's gonna go help him.
Well, I'll get him
Um,
situated.
He looks just very surprised, still very much taking in like what is happening around him. Does that make sense? Like, he was released minutes ago maybe, but it's still barely time to like reconcile what he was experiencing with the world that is around him.
I guess I should update. Honorine tries to help, but whoosh, probably
Right
not.
Oh
now
yeah,
she
ghosts.
no. Oh, right.
She's a ghost, right? Basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she like moves to help him and then looks frustrated as her hands just pass right through him.
The motion towards him and like the intent does get like a very kind of wan smile from Upman. Does that make sense? Like, that right now the gesture is as much appreciated as the actual physical help. Does that make sense? The sense of like, despite everything that has transpired between him and the council, he has a sense, at least at the moment, that he's amongst friends. Does that make sense? So, um,
Len will try and quietly explain to Hans and Honorine just why he looks so gutted and why Len's been kind of angry.
what is he saying? Because Upman himself is going to be like within earshot of this,
Yeah.
and I want to know what he's saying
Oh,
to
well, then he'll
them
say,
while Upman can hear.
I would be in the same boat if the family I'd lost had been given back to me as a lie, and I only just was made known of that. Part of my demand for this was that he be released from the vision they gave him of him being young and with his family still with him. Even though it wasn't true. They were simulacrum. And the she were using him to get free dresses.
He says it was not my talent that they needed.
Have we seen them? Have we seen the she like absorb whatever emotional whatever like emotion fog off people yet?
I think in the moments of like Runa and Red dancing, there was definitely like a palpable sort of like leaning into it. Does that make sense? And like a mirroring of the emotions that Runa and Red seem to be experiencing, like that cross their faces. Well, specifically the emotions that Runa was feeling, um,
Okay.
which I suppose it's fair to say to Runa, like, was that specifically like grief? Was it like gratitude for the moment?
Mix. It was a mix.
Bittersweet.
Yeah,
I,
because she knows it's like this is
then what Hans and Henri would have seen on the faces of the she was that instead of that mix, it's almost like each emotion was diluted out to a single pure thing, and each face reflected like one single strong emotion. Does that make sense? So one was like looking ready to cry with grief, and another was looking like intensely grateful. Another was looking probably just like happy to see Red in whatever form. Um, so yeah, they have seen it, and they've seen the sort of like, it's like just a floating sort of dust that moves through the water and disappears, but it becomes transparent as it comes close to the sheet. Does that make sense? They're not like snorting it up like lines of coke. They're just sort of like in its presence.
It just kind of like absorbs through
Yeah.
some magic mechanism. Okay.
So,
So
and then they reflected briefly.
Honoриne's going to hear Len out for a minute and then just sort of look at Upman, and she has very deep sympathy on her face because she's remembering finding out that Tomas was dead, and she's looking at him and going, he just lost his family all over again. The look she's giving to Len is a little bit. It's very mixed. It's very thoughtful.
Yeah. Hans kind of reacts similarly. He's like he goes through his own experience of each kind of recalls his memory fragments of before and after waking up, of before and after the whole like waking up in the forest bit, and like the realization that came in the few days after that, and he'll offer a hand to just like kind of give him a comforting shake of the hand and a knowing nod.
And I'll just be like, they can put him back in and probably remove the memory of him knowing it's a lie if he wants, but he deserved the choice. The informed choice on whether to spend the rest of his days in that lie, blissfully unaware, or live in the truth, painful as it may be.
So I would like to explore something just real briefly about Hans, which is that you had said that his family emblem is like on his breastplate. And I'd asked if he knew what it was, and at no point in exploring his backstory have we actually like talked about who his family was. Does that make
No.
sense? And so here's my question: does Hans remember them? Were they something from before his death that he has lost?
I think he's got a couple fragments. He probably remembers a couple small things that happened in his childhood. He probably remembers when he got his gauntlet. Probably he remembers that. Probably remembers getting sent off into the battle that got him killed. And yeah, because I've never established it before, so I'm going to canonize this. I think he remembers his little sister. A couple small flashes of her, and that's about it. And he remembers the crest, or at least he remembers it enough to kind of draw forth the image from wherever the rest of his forgotten life has gone.
And then, so
I did actually think about the crest a little bit as well.
would you be willing to give me a thing to fill in here about it?
Yeah, sure.
Of like having it sort of like appearing in this moment, like on his chest. And the image of it is just, it is like a rampant draken, which is used in a lot of the same ways as the Dupay like last name in Montaigne. Does that make sense? It is a crest of nobility without specifying it. It's one that like nobody argues with. It's an anonymous crest, so to speak. I am noble, but for reasons I'm concealing my exact lineage.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I like that.
It's also a crest that is used by any number of like knights who have lost their family, who are unlanded and stuff like that, and so they don't feel comfortable using their old family's crest because the person who currently has that land might take it personal, like as an attempt to lay claim or something like that. But to which their lineage is still a very real thing. Does that make sense? And it's a way of saying like I am a knight of Eisen and I am loyal to the land. And at one point it would have been a like declaration of loyalty to the imperator, but those days are gone. So different colorful like tropical fish, not quite as colorful as the ones who escorted Len and Rosa in, or like pulling seats away from the table as the queen herself comes down and moves and notes that like Arthur is not amongst the attendants. She says, the young Avalon has returned, it seems.
I don't quite know what happened there. We were walking down the halls back to our rooms mid conversation, and he started at something I could not see, and then just vanished.
The means by which the two of you have traveled here is one that requires a sound sleep.
Yeah, a whole number of okay, interesting. I hope nothing bad has happened. Faces kind of quickly flash across his, and then he's like, okay, well, not my problem right now.
Yeah. And she began laying out courses of meals, of which there's a sense of like different energies about everything that's laid out. Like, as you know, like the foods will look like, oh, like here's a bit of like prepared squid, and here's a like tropical fish cut or something like that. Here's like a seaweed wrapped something. There doesn't seem to be any like disassociation for like, I mean, you immediately see like one of like the nobles that looks like a codfish like eating a piece of codfish. Like there is no association of like, how dare you. But as your like hands move close to them, you can feel different like emotions like lingering on the foods. Like there's like a sense of like sadness and rage and happiness and like inspiration and kind of like intense focus, all just like lingering around the bites of like different appetizers and everything that are being placed out there, like soups and salads that are going to become just like full courses.
I don't know how Len would take, being served some McFeelies here. But he'll definitely try and steer towards the happier things in this, whatever food that might be.
So this is going to be a resolve test once again, with like nobility matched to it. And it's sort of about just like controlling your own reactions to things that are evoking emotion just by the act of like tasting them. So everybody can do their roles. I'm going to continue like narrating as that happens.
Are we adding appearance?
Not for this. This is about self-control.
Can I get a free raise for pain tolerance, which gives me a free raise for resist torture?
And this
is he sticking to things that would be reactions, like foods that would be torturous to him? Is he going to like voluntarily pick?
I was just thinking in terms of, like, actually, no, you're right. No,
Able drinker? I don't.
I was gonna say the resist torture thing is kind of making some assumptions of our, hospitable.
I was just thinking like I was just thinking.
I understand you're going for
the
like self-control of it. Yeah, but
how did
it's cyberpunk head. My brain thinks resist drugs torture.
That's
all good.
That makes sense.
And that one gets rolled a lot in my games.
It's called a rainbow. Yeah, good God.
We got a 17.
So the rule is for self-control if you're resisting it.
It's more about like the display of emotion. Does that make sense? There's a sense of like you're supposed to like eat this, but like not outwardly show it, not have like an extreme reaction to it. It's not about like that you can't feel it, and you can certainly like express a certain amount of like, oh, this is delicious or something like that. It's just you can't like suddenly like break down sobbing after you have a chip. is the etiquette of it? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you are trying to chart a different course with it, like if you're trying to create emotions by virtue of the emotion that you've ingested, I am willing to accept another like course for it, but you kind of have to describe what it is you're attempting to do.
And you said it's just resolve, and if you have an ability, or if you have the skill?
If you have the noble skill.
Okay. Oh hey.
I don't know that Honorine is. I mean, I guess she's kind of not trying to let it overtake her so much, but I think she's, with everything she tries, she's taking.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Hans and Honorine can't make this roll.
Oh, right. Yeah,
because we can't eat. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Food.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait,
okay,
didn't Arthur? Did Arthur tell us not to eat anything?
It's just
We
No, he
were
said it would
promised-
be fine.
We were promised
that's
by
right.
Queen Mab that would be fine.
but we just physically can't eat.
Yeah, I'll
Just, just kind
Those is
This
not
is
doing well, y'all.
delicious.
of.
I
Hey,
got
full
an
on, full on
18.
Slimer.
I got a 17. So
Okay.
46.
So you
40.
guys are now so both of you are getting +1 drama dice that you can hold on to. It will become experience at the end of the game, like as a normal drama die, but it also has got kind of special uses throughout this scene. Does that make sense? Because it's acquired here. But so it goes over smoothly. Like for Len, it's for Ruth, it's just like the general stoicism of people. You know what I'm saying? Like they just you feel your feelings on the inside and occasionally let them out in battle screams.
Mhm.
And having Red like right there really helps because he
Yeah.
was like kind of the most emblematic person of it that she knew. For Len, it's like this was the whole life in the court of Sarah. You know what I'm saying? Hating people to your bones. You know what I'm saying? And smiling at them as
Smiling
you.
politely. It's so nice to see you. I'm glad. Come in.
Um, and like as the meal kind of settles, the queen herself, she looks over everyone. She kind of smiles to herself. She says, "I think this is the first in a long while that we have had such delightful guests."
How are Hans and Margot holding up to this food?
Um,
I love it when I make him go, mmm.
yeah, well, and I'm
Gav is sitting beside Margot, by the way.
yeah. So let me. Margot does not have any scholar or any noble skills, surprisingly.
I'm not surprised.
Okay, she's like kind of managing to keep a stage face, and Upman. He also does not have the noble skill. 4K4 and he gets a 15. He's struggling.
Dude's got some feels.
He's got,
Yeah.
I mean, he's still got his feels going on. Okay.
What's kind of happening is that like whatever he's eating is not powerful enough to like affect what is going through him at the moment. Does that make sense? It's like throwing a little bit of like ketchup on top of like the devil's jambalaya that is like actively made of fire. That is an actual meal that was served to me in a restaurant in South, and I loved the name of it. But she seems pleased, and she says, "I understand that the intention is for all to return to the lands above." She looks to Hans and to Margot, and she says, "Both of you have discussed the possibility of remaining as my guest. And the invitation is open for the both of you to do so, but there is no requirement. Knowing my brother is alive is payment enough for your freedom."
We're pleased to be guests. Did Hans and Margot actually indicate to us anyway whether they were staying or going, or what was?
Mario had talked about it with Gav, but the fact that
Oh.
she had a private conversation is, it's not even clear if like it was a private conversation was had or simply that she knows what happens in her palace and understood that the thought and the temptation was there.
That's fair. I suppose. I mean, I know all of us will be returning, but I suppose we're waiting for a final decision from Margot and Herr Upman.
She nods. She says, "We are sad echoes of what we once were. Matushka's curse upon us, the loss of our own emotions, has forced us into the state you observe now, the one in which the only feelings that we can experience, the only ones that we can remember, are the ones we see mirrored around us. It has been a long and aching hunger here for some time." She looks to Upman and she says, "I know that it was not your choice to come here, but your presence was appreciated." And Upman, for his part, I'm making one more roll real quick. Through a superhuman act of self-control, remains silent. Although it's clear that like there are wheels turning and like there is something that he would like to say, he's just debating the wisdom of doing it.
So we're all free to return if we choose to do so?
She says, "You are esteemed by my brother. Under his protection." He says, "As well, you have been polite and respectful guests."
Len's inside. Len's like, I really got to ask Matrushka sometime about this shit, because
What
about
has
this whole
Matrushka been up to?
yeah.
If I am allowed to ask question, the person who sent Herr Upman here is not a friend of ours.
Oh, she is not a friend of mine either.
We would like to know information about her if we can.
It's a complex story. And I
Most
understand.
stories are.
This one bears with it a particular warning that the details that I'm to offer you, if they were to be revealed topside in a manner in which one of their order overheard, it could mark you for death by them. This is an order that has existed for centuries and protects its secrets zealously. So I ask you, are you certain you would like to know? Len's like, peace out. Let the KGB have their shit.
I know. Voorhees just gonna lean over and go, I know you want to know. We all want to know, but that means Hannelore would probably be a target too. I do not think this is a risk we need to take, my friend.
Well, in honor
that stops him cold.
While Len is like diverting Gav, Honorane's gonna speak up like, I don't actually wish to know anything about her or her order. I simply wish to know how to get her to leave us alone.
She already has one of us marked for death. As Runa kind of like gestures over to Hans.
Well, that's a problem.
You knew about this.
And the queen kind of she leans on the arm of her chair and she says that he's curious that you of all of them would be targeted.
I know, he's the nicest guy.
There are a great many curious things about my existence. So it is, at this point, it comes as no surprise. He's like, that is just, he's just kind of like, he's kind of an attitude of like, yeah, fucking whatever. This shit happens all the time. I'm not surprised.
He's like, my life is weird.
It's just
this
like,
is
yeah,
just
shit's
how it
fucked.
Just add it to
Nothing
the
you can
list.
do. Yeah, pretty much.
Meanwhile, Honoré, like, she might have phrased it a little better. Like, I just sort of popped out with that. He's the nicest guy, but she's like, he's the sweetest man, and she's incensed. Like, she's annoyed at this woman. Like, out of everybody that this person could have marked for death, that it's fucking Hans. Like, no. How do we get rid of this bitch?
Bit late for that, I think.
She doesn't say that out loud, but she's just like,
Well, she
like,
did. She did actually say out loud, like, "How do we get her?"
Yes,
leave us
I'm
alone.
just saying, like, she's not like doing this to the queen of the undersea.
She says there would be two ways to get her to leave you alone. One is the obvious solution, her death. While she does not age, she is fully capable of being murdered in conventional fashions. She's simply very good at avoiding it. Says the second would be those that she answers to, recalling her from Freeburg. But
She
to do
does
that
seem
would-
intent to close all leads.
She is a representative of the Sealy court, of my sisters and those who first bent knee to Matushka. Those who now hold sway over the court of Avalon.
That explains why she doesn't have Arthur marked for death.
Explains why she has other things for Arthur marked.
Arthur is a representative of Elaine. And Elaine, she kind of like those I'm going to have somebody just decide who's sitting by Marith.
I am.
Only two of you. So, which two?
We'll play musical chairs for it. Let's in this one.
Rosa probably would be
Okay.
because she did offer her the deal.
There is not a wits roll required to like understand the emotion that goes through Marith at the mention of Elaine. It is just like an instant tensing of shoulders, tightening of jaw. There, like the rage that flickers through her eyes, like makes the entire panel of Fae that are behind her like gnash their teeth and grip the rail of like the thing that they're behind. Does that make sense? It is so palpable to them that it just sort of like instantly affects them.
Well, and Marith, as we were arriving, mentioned that Elaine is her mother.
Aunt.
Yes. No,
Is it
mother.
aunt?
No, mother.
Marith called Elaine her mother.
Yeah.
Oh no. For some reason I thought it was the queen. Never mind.
Yeah.
No, the queen
Marith,
is Arthur's aunt.
Aunt. Yep.
So just to be clear, Arthur was referencing one of the queens of the Fae. Does that make sense? Not Queen Elaine herself.
No,
Oh.
Mab.
Queen Elaine.
Yeah, that was who I was talking about.
Is
That's
his
So
who
just
Rosa's
because
sitting next to.
there's a whole lot of potential connections here, and Arthur isn't here to like clarify, I'm just going to assume that at some point in the downtime that you've had together, he's relayed a little bit more detail.
Okay, so wait, so Elaine is one of the queens of the Fae?
No, Elaine is the queen of Avalon, and she's human.
Okay. And Elaine is Marith's mother.
Yes,
Yes.
which is completely unknown. Like one of Queen Elaine's whole things is that she has no suitors, she has no lovers, she has no spouse.
Okay.
And like she is very much playing the part of like the Virgin Queen, and she has many suitors and many who would like to be, the King of Avalon. What is known about her backstory wise, I mean, fuck it, she's got a reputation of like 130. So, so there's, what is known is that like she came out of like the woods with the Grawl, which marked a pact between the Shi and the rulers of Avalon. It had not been seen for over 1,000 years. Like the Fae and the people of Avalon had been in a sort of, I don't want to call it a contest. Like sometimes it was collusive and sometimes it was very acrimonious. But like since the Grawl returned, there has been no overtly hostile action between Fae and like there's been individual things, but it's generally considered like they're in alliance with the people of Avalon now. And it's an alternate spelling of Grail. The thing that is being described is an actual Grail, but it's called the Grawl. And I spelled it in chat and put it over in Twitch as well. So. So Mob kind of pauses and looks at Marith. She says, Elaine, for her faults, is doing the best that she can for Avalon. But to do so, she has made pacts with the queens of the Fae. The woman who hunts you, and looks to Hans, has been in the service of the Fae longer than Elaine has reigned.
So she has axe to grind, da?
Yeah.
All of the Shi have an axe to grind.
With Hans?
No, not with Hans, just in general. I don't believe that her animosity towards Hans is anything beyond tactical. He is becoming a glamour, but he is becoming a glamour outside of Avalon.
Like he momentarily drops the polite facade and like just turns around like.
She says, "You have not been explained what that is, or what."
I have not. People have mentioned that about me many times. I have not been told at all. I've not been told a single detail about what that means, and I, to be honest, it has gotten concerning to the point of frustration that I'm endangering all of these other people for something I have no knowledge of.
Gotten a little old, to be honest.
Apologize for the outburst there.
She says, "Your ire is delightful."
Again, apologies.
Okay, having
It
seen
is
all
rather
this,
out of character.
I have to ask: is your brother trying to turn Hans into his own glamour? If he's made his own court in the woods,
She says,
or is that just Hans being Hans, the man we all know and love?
She says, "Should a war come between the Unseelie and the Seelie, the Seelie will have dozens of glamours at their disposal. My brother will have one."
And my bear. Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to talk to my boss.
At the mention of like as soon as she says if a war, he stops for a minute and like, oh, kind of realizes a bit of the duplicate nature of his deal.
We just watched a penny drop on Hans's face.
And we just watched Len once again earn the Herald of Doom. Len being Len, like, oh, by the way.
Boop.
Yeah, so like in the windows that surround the palace, like every single room that you've been into has like windows that look out into the ocean, despite the fact that they should have like interior facing walls. But this one has the most, and in the like all of the windows that are like surrounding the palace, there begin to be figures that sort of like step out of the darkness. You see, like, it looks like an Innish woman that's like she's racing in between oncoming arrows, like moving so fast that she's like twisting around them. Next to him, there's like a man with like a dark black cloak that kind of like swirls and seems to like disappear. Um, there's it looks to Runa like nothing so much as like a mad pirate who literally grabs like a cannonball out of the air as it comes at him and just like roars in defiance. You're seeing like these sort of like legendary heroes that appear that are you're watching them do acts of the impossible. Um, you see a knight that's like garbed in Avalon plate who just takes arrow after arrow after arrow as he's walking without moving as like armies approach him on all sides. He just has like sword and shield. And even as his body is like being turned into a pincushion, he refuses to fall. There's Mad Jack himself, like appearing in one window. He of everybody seems to be like almost aware that he's there. Instead of doing anything, he just kind of presses his nose against it like it's glass, and then and like makes like a blowfish on it. And you see the queen sort of like looks at him and she just sort of like makes like a shooing motion, and he turns and fully like drops his pants and presses bare cheeks against the glass, and like kind of wiggles and then like runs off.
Honorine is fully like trying not to laugh. Like she's
So that is where
Same
Arthur
with
got
Rosa.
it. So that is where Arthur got it from.
One of the people that uh Runa herself recognizes is Saint Rogers. She knows him because he was considered like the first pirate. Um, she sees him like standing atop a deck, you know, the ship like underfoot, a flag waving behind him. Um, and the ship itself is as much a part of his legend as he is. Does that make sense? Like the story, because Runa knows it, is that like his magic entwined him so deeply with his ship that he could command it with his will alone. He didn't need a crew. He could sail just by telling it where he wished to go. There are more. I'm not going to go into all of them. Like there are like 24, as I said. As Hans is like kind of taking it as like these would be the people on the other side of a battlefield from him.
Yeah, he kind of looks around at all of these, and then his gaze just kind of falls to somewhere way outside the castle. And he just kind of like he has no idea what any of this means at this point. He has no idea how to react.
He's gonna give him a tap on the shoulder. He's like, "You got this."
Woof, woof.
Because they don't have guns.
And she says, and Mob says, to the she, these glamours are not legends. They are templates. They are soldiers that can be popped out and recreated over and over and over again. Because the magic of glamour, the magic of the she, is to take on these aspects and to command them. So for every mage who masters glamour, they can take any number of these heroes and assume their role.
Oh,
For you to become a glamour is for others to be able to do what you do.
Run really far.
She says, a perfect soldier, a perfect commander, multiplied by 1,000.
Suddenly things don't look so hopeless. Do we need to start selling Hans merchandise? Will that put his face on a mug? Get the word out?
Such things will not impact his legend.
Yeah, but the money.
Hope and fear.
You have been adding a lot of hope to Freeburg lately, Hans.
And there's been a lot of fear there, so that makes the hope all the more impactful.
She's kind of like moved down the tables until the point where she's like standing near Hans. Does that make sense? And she kind of like reaches to touch his face and like turn it towards her, where the sort of like gauntly white like complexion and the shattered eyes, like she's looking them directly. She says, "You're paying a toll for it."
I mean, I will admit it was a bit concerning of a change at first, but I mean, I do not feel particularly different. It is strange, but I had assumed this was all in an effort to protect my home, to protect the city we come from, to protect the tower. He like gestures to the non-existent, like just kind of zoned. He's like half zoned out at this point.
Her fingers kind of passed through the chin. It was like, he's still not quite there. Does that make sense? It was more a reflexive, like, oh, she's trying to move me to look at her. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I have a message for you to bear to my brother when next you speak to him.
That ought to be quite soon. So
The message is, you have taken something from this one because you think it makes him stronger, but you have weakened him.
I have a feeling that he can already hear.
She smiles. She says, "You should say it to him anyway."
Yeah, but just nods.
Honoring watching them very intently. Incredibly interested.
She looks back to Rosa and she says, "We discussed something. Do you wish the others to know of it? Or do you wish to keep that conversation private?"
I believe it's important for all of them to hear.
She says, "I have made an offer to Rosa to be bound with my own sorcery instead of that which runs through her blood." She says, "It is not as simple a thing for one with your power to remove it before it has shaped you. I will need to engage with the one who has strings upon you now."
She's under my bed.
Yeah, she didn't get to come to the party. She doesn't get to sit with us.
She's not welcome here. And there's kind of like a brief image out through the water of the area that is like the ocean where Rosa's family's island once was. And through it, she can see, like, it looks just like shreds of souls, like people who have been literally like rent asunder and aren't complete and full beings anymore, even in death. Just swirling in a constant tornado of red.
Oh my god.
She says, "Her legacy upon the world, and there will be more if she is allowed to return."
How likely is it that she will return if Rosa doesn't do this? Because you are incredibly strong, my love, but this is not a choice I would intend to make for you.
Let me. If I do understand correctly, she was relatively close to having me. If I hadn't given my book to Honorine, the journal.
How many times has she possessed you? Fully possessed you?
Player doesn't remember. I think it's one. Okay.
Yeah.
He's interrupted the signal a couple of times, but she's never taken over,
Yeah, it was only once.
other than just the once.
Her influence is inevitable, but she has only taken control once.
Mhm.
She says, twice more, and you will be lost to her.
That doesn't mean you should let her do it another time.
Yeah, I'm not keen on Mima showing up again, ever.
She's the only one who defeated the Zernath when we needed it most.
Gav is watching Hans Upman and Margot's faces right now.
They're actually like absorbed in the conversations and what's going back and forth.
Len is gonna look at Rosa and be like, "My love, just because I kill a jaguar who's going after my prey, if I'm going to kill the prey, it should not be thankful. She saved all of us from a fate she would have shared. I don't think even with all her powers she could have taken the Cernith if they came back in full force. So that's that. I'm not trying to hurt you, but that can't be shown as any sort of actual aspect of love. That was self-preservation."
My worry is if they come back, I do not have the strength to take care of them.
Not alone.
Well, it sounded like your grandma's help, it took everything she had to stop a single one. If the Cernith come back, they come back as an army. I saw what they were before they were sealed away.
We all did.
And I saw the army on the other side of the portal.
And so there's grandma could get one, you know, good on her if they come back, but the other, 100,000, she doesn't have the power to stop that.
It doesn't
And
matter.
Mob interjects. She says she does have a power that I do not possess, which is the power to perceive them.
Oh,
It doesn't matter. I don't care if she could stop every single individual in that army by herself. She can't have you.
damn right.
She's not. I just need to figure out how to use my magic without accessing her, right?
You've been doing it for years before you came across her, haven't you?
No.
Did they not have this talk? Oh no. No, it
She
was
did
Gav,
with Gav. She did with Gav.
not him. And at that, she's going to take Len's hand and just say,
Just like, I'm going to hold your hand as I say this.
the bad news hand hold.
Oh no.
We can talk about that when we get back.
No, I remember the magic kiss, and you did not have the book at that time. So you have been using your powers. Or
So,
there's still context I'm missing?
Quite a bit.
Rosa, Honorane's going to lean in closer and say very quietly in her ear, Angelina, she can't have you. I'm not trying to make a decision for you, but she can't have you. I just found you.
And I just found you. Where I just don't know if losing the last piece of me that comes from the last bit of family that I have. I'm the last Lucani.
I know she says that I'm not family, and I think she's wrong.
I want to interject real quick. Just so like, who's watching this interchange really closely? Who's kind of watching what's around them? Is everybody kind of watching the things between Rosa and Honorine and Len real close, or are they watching the gathering?
Runa is watching this conversation really closely, but she also periodically like looks up to make sure Red's still there.
Okay. So
Gav
I'm just gonna
is keeping his focus on more or less Upman and Margot, because he knows how Upman dealt with this the first time around. You know, finding out about magic and stuff. And you know, they're the normals. The three of them, they're the normals. This is not their friggin' life. So he's kind of just keeping an eye on them.
I think Gavin and Bruno both see that like the entire assemblage of Unseelie that are here, with all of the sort of like interplay of emotion that's going on between Honorine and Rosa and Len, and before with Hans about, you know, what he's lost. Like, this is a banquet for them. There's no food in front of them, but they are absolutely sort of like it's just like bleeding into what's going on around. Does
I'm
that make sense?
honestly just envisioning the Hook imaginary dinner before Robin Williams gets it. Just a bunch of face sitting around, scraping empty bowls and drinking from empty mugs. Just this is gourmet shit.
It is not quite like that, but it is very clear that they are like being repaid for whatever kindnesses they're showing by virtue of just the sort of like intensity of this interaction. Does that make sense? So, and even the queen herself is occasionally like pausing, eyes fluttering, you know what I'm saying, collecting herself and kind of rejoining the conversation. But
she's gonna need to change her undies. Honorine is very, very focused on Rosa, obviously.
And
what about Hans?
Rosa's, yeah. What about Hans? What's Hans doing?
He's just like looking. He's looking down at the table.
No.
There's also still all of the images of all of the glamours that are out on the walls.
He's actively trying to not look at them right now. Like that kind of freaked him out, to be perfectly honest.
In the background, you hear the opening strings of Mad World. All me are.
I think there's probably a lot happening that isn't really showing on his face at all. Like he's thinking about everything.
What is showing on the faces of the she that are nearest to him?
I think, depending on how many, I think there's one. There's definitely a. What's the best? I guess not quite. I suppose almost like a grief-stricken one at his, like he's something has happened. He's remembered a little bit more of what he was and what his life was before. And like the few memories that he does have are much more like vibrant and aggressive now. He's trying to like reprocess that. And at the same time, all this back and forth talking about different wars has got him thinking about the words and the specifics of the very first time he accepted this deal, and what he was kind of unwittingly signing himself up for, and almost in a sense surrendering to.
Yeah. There is a moment as he's thinking about it that it's in the wake of like the moment where like the queen had like touched the side of his face and like forced him to meet her gaze, where he is in his reflections and he feels a very small hand touch his chin and like turn his face, and he's looking up into his sister's eyes, and it's been like he hasn't even been able to remember what she looks like, and she's a child, and there are heartbreaking tears running down her cheeks, and she can barely get out the words. She says, "I don't want you to go fight." What if you don't come home? And then just sort of throws herself against his chest and is openly sobbing into it.
He's letting the memory happen now, and I think in that moment he had no words. He had no idea what to say. He held her and just, he pats her head and tries his best to maintain the I'm the representative of the family. I have to be the stand tall and represent the strength of this bloodline.
He suddenly, like, he's hearing the words that he's thinking, you know what I'm saying, like this duty that's been drilled into it, everything like that. But he realizes, like, he's not thinking it, it's being said. An older, deeper voice is saying it is his responsibility. He is the heir. He must prove himself. He must know battle. He must command. He says, "I know." And like as the voice comes into view, like Hans recognizes his father. He's an older man with like silver and steel in his hair. And he kneels down and he kind of like touches the girl's back. He says, "This is the burden we bear." And she says, "He's my only brother," and just kind of squeezes tighter. Like she doesn't want to be reasoned with. She doesn't care about any of that. She says, "I don't want him to die." And he says, "He will be fine. He is trained. He is a warrior. Hilgrund is a fine commander." And the old man kind of like reaches down and he picks up the little girl, and she's like refusing to look at him. Like it's a very just stubborn child thing, like, "I'm not gonna look in your face," you know what I'm saying, and keeps like looking back to Hans as the older man keeps talking. He says, "He is not ready for a command of his own. He is too young for that." He says, "And being on the field against a commander like Posen, she would cut him down." Says, "But he can learn to battle." Says he can learn the arts of war, and he will keep this family and this country safe. Um, and then he leans back and he sets the girl on his knee, and he takes the crown of the imperator off of his forehead and sets it down. Says, "I want him to come home too."
Fuck.
I have an above board question for after the game.
I think we all have questions.
I have all the questions.
None of them are going to get answered.
And I think outwardly everyone just kind of sees him.
Like 6 she behind him, that eyes all kind of like go wide and like kind of like clutch at their chest. And Mob kind of looks up at them and looks at Hans and gives a smile.
He looks different now. At the last bit of that he could never remember. That bit with the crown was lost until now. Because you said we can kind of control how we appear, the three of us who took the weird thing. the armor he's wearing looks a bit big on him now. He looks like the smaller boy he was in that memory. And he's just like he physically, like everyone can see, anyone who looks at him can see him shrink a bit. And for a moment his hair is that like rich forest brown again, and for a moment his skin lights up and his eyes return to normal. The Draconison he's wearing, just for a split second, flashes to its natural like brilliant white. Suddenly he's suddenly like really shiny, and this small, almost there's this small boy with such large shoes to fill sitting at this table.
Don't worry, Hans. Shrinkage happens to some guys.
He'll grow into those ears.
Mob looks at him and is not speaking to him. Instead, she speaks like through him. She says, "Thank you." And there's like an almost like understanding through Hans that the Shadaman like is accepting, like, you're welcome.
I think he doesn't say anything else for a while.
She looks back to Rosa. She says, "If you're ready to make that choice, I will bestow you with a keepsake."
She's
When
not.
you're ready, bring it and the book to the tower.
All right.
She cannot see here. She cannot see what we've discussed. She will only know the pact that you have made if you speak it outside these walls.
Honorin's gonna look directly at Len at that.
Meow.
Rosa doesn't know if she wants to give up being a Strega.
Well, I think the token, what she's saying is she's going to give Rosa a token that Rosa can use if she makes the choice, but it's not guaranteed.
She doesn't have to do it right now. Okay.
Yeah. Is that right, Ciosa?
Okay.
She says, "I have another gift as well before you leave. Not for you." She kind of moves back towards the throne. And she reaches, it's kind of like a reach into it, and then the thing is produced. It looks a bit like a snow globe. There's like, perfect glass with a wooden base, and sitting on the bottom of it is a model of the Revenge.
So she has the flag, snow globe. Okay. Thank you.
She says, "It is yours by right. Break this, and what is yours will be returned to you from the bottom of the ocean."
Like Black Pearl up in here.
So it's not a keepsake. That was out of character. Thank you.
She says, "Your people honored me in their own way for a long time. They were not Avalon, but they respected my wrath. They feared me, and that fear gave me the strength to stand against my sisters time and again.
sorry, I got distracted. As I'm sure my people will continue to do so.
She says they have sent their dead and all of the heartbreak of those losses to us for a very long time. It has kept us sustained in dark hours.
I'm happy to have found myself here.
She says, we have been delighted to have you as a guest. I hope to see you again one day, but not soon. And you have seen as much of the sea as you wish to.
I don't think I could get very tired of the sea. There's so much of it.
And she smiles, and there's like a pang in it. She says, what you see of it is a fraction of what is.
Of course.
She steps back. She says, I believe our dinner is coming to a conclusion. You have been most hospitable guests, and now I would ask a favor of one of you.
Honoring's still talking to Rosa.
All right. We can cut to that. She
So
can be whispering quietly with Rosa while Queen Mab is talking.
yeah, she hasn't stopped. Like, this is your chance. Like, you need to take it, and you need to get free from this influence. Your family is more than your abilities. I'm gonna make it pretty obvious, like, GM, this is the whole overzealous thing. She's like, this is probably, like, any reasonable person would be like, this is not the time, but Honoring cannot stop herself. She's like, this is your shot, dude. Shoot your shot. Like, you don't have to wait. You don't have to risk the Mad Queen finding out once we go back to the surface. You don't have to risk all of that. You don't have to risk her wrath. You can just end her association right now. Meanwhile, Runa's having a moment with the ship, probably.
Yeah. The ship she grew up on is in her hands. She can see where it's broken, but she can see pieces of it that she remembers. The she that are behind Honorine, she's kind of overzealously. I'm going to give you a drama die for the overzealous and like fully leaning into it.
Thank you.
But like everybody that, like all of the she that are behind her, like they are eating it up as well. Does that make sense? Like, oh, our section just got a dessert course.
All the snooty she are behind Honorine.
I'm thinking it's the she of class. Thank you very much.
Six of one, half a dozen of the other.
She says,
It's horny and emotion.
Absolutely, it is.
Okay, then nobody look below about waist height on anybody standing behind Len, because Rosa's outfit is doing it for him, even in this moment.
She says, I have given gifts to several of your procession. I have more gifts to give, but I will ask amongst you, who amongst you would owe me a favor? It is yours to decide.
Yeah, it's like I don't
I don't
think
mind owing a favor.
Yeah, And my boss would not appreciate it, I think. So
It would depend on nature of favor.
She says, I do not know it. I will not ask of it now.
And the GM won't tell you, no matter how much you badger him. Just FYI.
do we have an assurance that it would not be a favor that would cause harm to any of us or our loved ones?
No.
Oh.
Nope. Everyone else has entanglements except for Runa and Gav, so...
And Rose, and I'm fighting Rosa right now from putting her hand up.
I can owe you a favor.
Rosa goes to lay in hand, two hands, grab her hand, and just, no, bad.
Rosa goes to raise her hand, and Honorin's like, I'm not finished talking to you.
The queen accepts it. She just accepts the favor from Bruno with a nod. She reaches out and like puts a hand on her shoulder, kind of draws Runa's hand up to her own. And there's just like a feeling of power passing between them. Of something that she understands that she will not be able to like renege on the favor. She won't be able to in the moment like take it back.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? And she but she simply nods in understanding. So she's given Rosa going to give her the keepsake, which will be the magic thing. She's given Hans like the gift of the truth. She's given Runa the keepsake of her ship. She turns to Gav and she says, I know there is nothing that you would take for yourself. She says, and so I offer this for your bride. And she sets down like a small box.
New.
Would it actually be a clam, like an actual giant clam?
Yeah,
You gotta
I'm
keep it
actually good with
undersea.
that, like a tiny little clam. And like it opens like as Gav touches it, he sees there's a ring with like a singularly beautiful black pearl on it.
Gav is I don't know, his response is kind of like mine. I am without words, Majesty.
She says, if it does not suit the lady, I will understand if you sell it to give her the wedding that you could only imagine. It is a trinket of great value, but it is still a trinket.
We got you on the wedding, buddy. There's no way we're not helping out with the wedding.
She says, if you can find it in your heart to be married on a ship at sea.
Sailor Runa
Yeah,
walking in.
I will return the favor I am owed.
I will see if she is agreeable. I do not know if she can swim.
I would not want her to try to be married if she could not swim in the water. Atop it is fine.
Your kindness is unexpected.
In this case, it is self-serving. Says love is a rare experience for us. Unseelie as we are, and trapped so far beneath the waves. Like my brother, the sum of our meals is usually fear and terror. And the opportunity to taste something different and something unique, as I have today, in such quantities, is a rarefied treasure.
Then this I can promise. You will have a feast.
She smiles at that. And her attention goes to Len. I know your service to the One is absolute. You have faith in her and her intentions, and I understand the reasons for them. Nothing else in your life has shown worthy of such a faith, and you must believe in something greater than yourself.
Indeed. Matrushka was there for me when there was no one.
Says, I will offer you a secret. Not about Matushka. You've deduced one with treason in their heart against her. The wolf.
Yes. The fake Gaius himself.
She says the other stands at his side. Stands at her side as her most trusted advisor.
Colche.
She nods.
Not surprising. Colche is Colche. If you keep a scorpion at your breast, eventually it will sting you.
She says, I would offer proof, but Matushka will believe you.
I'm certain we will be talking very soon. He kind of slips back into the accent a little. He's thinking about that. And I'm sure you know by now, but I did not know about any of this. And
if you had come here without invitation, it would have gone very differently.
I thank you for your forbearance.
There are rules to our wars.
And I offered it as my own gift. This isn't going to be comfortable, but Len's going to close his eyes and remember again the day that he failed the Gaius and Katharinia. It's more of what they're... No, actually, the day he and Katharinia almost said they loved each other. That will be an intense memory to relive and give them a little something different.
Yeah, but there's a range of emotions across the she that are around. There's regret, there's love, there's fear, as the moments that came immediately afterwards. And there's the bittersweetness of knowing that it can't happen.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
What he
honoring
can
in the background, like you would be done with the decision. Like you don't actually have to drag this out.
Yeah, Rose is holding it back. She's trying not to yell.
And I could just imagine behind Honorine, like 30 feet, all staring intently at Rosa with judgmental.
Oh no!
Nodding along with the whole terrain, just
off of Rosa, because I get to do this just like Honorine did. Loyalty, her loyalty to her grandmother, and to being a Lucani, is why she's like
Lorenzo. Sorry. Yeah.
It's just slowly like her anger just getting more and more and more.
And she, the queen leans down to Len. She says, I have one more gift that I will. It is a gift for you, but it is one that Rosa will bear. And then she turns away. And out again, just so I don't forget, Rosa is going to wake up with an exact copy of the outfit she's wearing, like in a bag on her chest, like when she wakes up.
Incredible.
Yep. But only Rosa? Because Len would totally give her a striptease in this outfit if he got his too, but
Oh my god.
his is mostly gold, so I don't know
No,
if they
Len
part
gets
that.
roses too.
Uh, she turns to Honorine, and as Honorine is still kind of in the middle of like, she kind of clears her throat.
She notices probably belatedly, and she does have the grace to look a little bit abashed. Like she got carried away. Like
She says it takes a special kind of loyalty to persist, but I would warn you that sometimes the most earnest attempt to talk somebody into something can end up talking them out.
yes, ma'am. Or yes, Highness. I don't know, but the response is very much in the vein of yes, ma'am.
Right.
She steps forward and she says, I will entrust your gift to another because I cannot give it to you here.
Oh,
She kind of brushes her fingers through Honora's shoulder, like, since she's ghostly.
thank you.
That makes more sense.
Yeah. Right, so
Um,
I do have a question, Highness, especially if one of our other compatriots is thinking of staying. What happens when their body dies if they agree to stay here?
Margot speaks up. She says, I believe we've decided to leave.
Okay. That gives us more
Um,
options.
um, she takes down, she kind of gestures to the conch knight and he like approaches. There's a very small conch shell in his hand that she takes, and she offers. She says, who would bear this for honor?
I can do it.
And he hands it to Len. She says, any word that has ever been spoken upon the sea can be translated by this shell. Speak the word that you do not know, and it will speak it back in a language you understand.
Ooh.
Thank you. So very much.
Yeah. Swanky.
Um, she looks to Margot, to Upman. Um, the last of the guests that are here. And she looks to Margot first, and she says, I appreciate the spirit of self-sacrifice that you are willing to offer. She says, and I understand the fire of rebellion that burns in you. And Margot like looks a little bit surprised at that. She says, I felt it every step that you have been here, and it has awoken old memories in me. She says, will you accept a gift from me? And Margot, like her eyes kind of drop, and she says, I won't. She says, with every politeness I can manage, I don't wish to insult you. You have been generous, but I can't. And the queen understands. She looks to Upman. She says, if your captivity here has brought you pain, I have apologies for it. We experienced your pain as you did and wished to free you from it and provide you something more joyful. And I know now that we have redoubled it. Will you accept a gift from me? And Upman says, "Your apology is sufficient." And she again nods in understanding. Marith can return you to the surface, at which time you can return to your own bodies, or I can arrange for a faster means from here, in which you will all awaken at once.
Before we do, actually, I'll wait until we're actually like just about to go.
Is the party in general agreed to just go and leave altogether?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
think so.
Rosa would rather that they wake up together.
Yeah. All right. The up and pushes himself to stand, and the queen simply like extends her fingers, and like the ground underneath everyone, like the dinner and everything, just sort of disappears. It again turns to like open ocean, but like it looks like waves rippling across the top of it.
Just before
She
we
says,
go, sorry.
and she says, "Leap into the water when you are ready to return."
Cannonball.
Runa's probably going to be the last.
Margot's
Gav
helping up into
will-
the water.
Yeah, that Gav's doing the same. He's going to help up Margot.
And Runa's going to turn back to Red. And with a smile that expresses both her grief and appreciation that she gets to say goodbye this time, she looks right at him and goes, "I'll see you in Valhalla."
Yeah, and he steps, like he kind of brushes past some of this she who would like hold him back. You know what I'm saying? He steps closer to her, and he's still ghostly, but she remembers as he embraces her like the crushing bear strength that he used to have. You know what I'm saying? And it's easy to like feel that through memory and through emotion in this place, even though he is a ghost. And he there's an understanding, like there's no reason that Runa can understand as to like why he's here. He wasn't lost at sea. He died in Freeburg.
Mhm.
But he kind of steps away from the embrace, and he puts his hands on her shoulders, and like the ghost of him begins to illuminate and glow golden along the arms and down his fingers, and then like kind of tracing out like his cheekbones and his hair, like extends all through him. He says, "I go now. I waited to see you one more time." And then she sees like it's like a portal opens behind him, and for a moment she can see her mother and Kavi through it, and he steps back through it, and it just sort of and closes around him.
She's like holding back tears at this point, and is also like, "Mom?"
She looks as surprised to see him and see Runa for just like a heartbeat. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And before like recognizing Red, and her eyes went wide. You know what I'm saying? And like as the portal is closing, Red just says, "Remember me." That's the last thing she hears from him.
And whether or not she says it before she can say it before the portal closes or not, she just says, "Always." And she'll dive in.
All right. So, everybody like wakes up in beds. the rat catchers are there. Felix is there. Mac is there, sitting in like one corner by the door, hand still on like the wrapped bundle that he had. As everybody begins to wake and begins to come to.
With all of our gifts.
Yes. The gift for there's the kind of like playful gift for Rosa that is for Len. But underneath it is two like little carved figurines, hand in hand. They're like genders are impossible to determine. It's not quite possible to determine what it like. It might be bone, it might be wood that they're carved out of. She doesn't know.
Well, that happened.
I feel strangely overdressed now.
I
Are
think
we
there's
still
a
in
rat.
our outfits?
No, I didn't think
Okay,
so.
I figured.
So Len's like, I think I feel a rat in my pocket. Come on. All right. He's gonna be very gentle about it. It's just, I had rats.
Pockets
I know what they
weaker.
do.
Honorine looks over at Herr Upman, kind of like questioningly, like surprised that he chose to come back. Do you need help getting home?
Just it's like I don't even know if I still have one. It's
They
been,
ransacked the place, but it is still there.
it says, but am I free to go there?
It is a good question. As it stands, you are both under the protection of the Council of Freiburg as we... And he's like, he stops to like get the right words out. Determined nature of terrorist threat. Dot.
I don't see why it can't be house arrest.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if we could get a guard or two, so the people in power will be satisfied that he's not going to run off. Obviously, you're not going to run off, but
I will stay.
and to keep him safe.
Fred,
Says
my
my place
dad.
is
I thought we were muted.
one of the few things she does know for sure is that Red is not her dad.
I
Red has
know. I
raised
just
her
thought
like
it would be
kid.
funny to say
Yeah.
to Rory, muted, like I thought we were.
Oh, good. So the I think everybody's probably like varying degrees of like emotionally like wreckage. Am I right?
Drained.
Runa wakes up and tears are just falling.
Len's pretty all right, actually. He didn't have any, dead relatives to show up or anything like that. They left him alone, I think, mostly because of the whole Matushka thing. So he's probably the one trying to just get everybody.
He just relived one of the most intense love scenes of his entire short life.
Yeah, but we just bury that again. You just tamp it down. Yeah, you don't
We are
look at
Assyrian.
it.
This is what
And
we do.
yeah, when it starts
Rosa,
to throb, we get vodka.
I want to add in one note before I forget. Hans, when you come to the sort of like big, giant, two-handed sword of uber blackness, it is different. Like it's not, the blade is not as wide. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's the kind of like Zweihander that he might have carried into battle, or his father might have carried into battle. It like, and it strikes an echo of like the family heirloom over the sort of like iconic gift from the Shadow Man. Does that make sense? It's still black as can be.
Yeah.
But it's not the sword that he carried into battle.
Okay, very specifically not that.
It's not that, and it's not the super sword he had for a while. But it
it's
is
much
something.
more like a classic Zweihander than like the more executioner style sword he wielded for a while.
Well, okay, he actually has his Panzerhand skill. It's a broadsword, but long enough that like he could potentially like do some
it's like
stuff with Zweihander later on with it. But
And a
like
half.
it's like big sword.
yeah, it's absolutely something that requires his not necessarily strength, but like experience and leverage because it's still light as cork. But so, is there anybody who really has like a thing that they want to get out before we wrap? Because we're gonna.
Yeah, I don't think the Len and Rosa talk that they need to have
No.
after the Len and Rosa talk that they needed to have
Yeah,
is going to fit in 3 minutes or whatever. So
no.
Just
Yeah.
3 minutes, Len. That's the best you can do. Sorry to hear that, buddy.
well, that's why I said we're not
All right,
having a quickie on this one.
Yeah, I know. But is there anything anybody else wants to do? I mean, Runa has like the keepsake of her ship in hand. Hans has like the new blade.
She's trying to decide if she's going to shatter it and get all of her stuff back or have it.
Well,
She's
you're in the
probably
basement of a rat right now.
Well, not right now. She's kind of just processing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're all pretty processy. Unless Hans has something.
Rosa kind of looks like she's. Oh, she has forgotten to tell Len.
So that's for next time.
Yeah, she's just panicking in the corner at the moment.
Hans is silent as he stands up and he stands and inspects the blade properly. Sheets it on his back as it was before and just silently looks and then nods to everyone and he will leave ahead of the others. He will silently leave.
Be careful, Hans.
Before he goes, Mac kind of looks to everybody. He says, "Is that everybody?"
Yes.
Is Arthur? I assume Arthur like
We're gonna
Wogan
assume
left.
Arthur's. Yeah,
Or is it-
he might even be here, but he's
Okay.
Arthur is hand waved for the moment.
Yeah. I'm not going to presume that he's done anything, but
Grodinger's presence.
Yeah.
And he's going back to his place in the Drucken nest this time.
Everyone's here, yes.
Everyone's back.
We all made it.
That's a rare feat where an unseelie cord is concerned.
We're
Apparently, we know the right people. Accepted much differently than we had hoped. Or we're
And at Gav's, we know the right people. Henri's gonna kind of look after Hans, like kind of glance his way. Does Rosa have her marks?
It's a moment, and then there's no damage that's done, but all the pain of taking those fate lashes returns as the marks do. Once again, it's like a darkness like wrapping into your soul, and for a moment her eyes go completely black.
She's gonna leave. She's gonna leave to protect her friends.
Nope. Not shaking Len that easy. We have to have a talk. And see.
So I think Henri's going to actually kind of catch Len and be like, just give her a minute. Give her some time to breathe.
I'm worried about her.
Of course you are. She's incredible.
Yeah. I don't know much about her taste in men, but she's incredible.
Shut up, Len.
Mac rises, and he looks to Runa. Says, "You want to pick up lessons again sometime? Let me know."
I'm sure there's much I've yet to learn.
He just gives a nod and kind of sets the bundle on his shoulder as he heads out. And those who are already walking, Rosa and Hans, that it's a complete rainstorm, like the kind of like deafening, no noise, you know what I'm saying? Like shouts are lost after a block. Murders can happen and won't be found until morning kind of storm coming down. The river is rising on all sides, almost as if like the Queen of the Sea is like making her presence known even here. When you cross over the bridges, almost every single one of them, the water is coming up to the point where like you can reach down from the bridge and touch the water instead of its normal level of rise where it's a jump into it. You can see, actually you can't see it because it's too far different, but Hans has been out to despair enough to know that like everybody out there is like struggling to not wash away at this point. Does that make sense? Like that's how bad these kind of rainstorms are. Rosa, everything seems black, and she keeps picking up strands of people she's not even looking and focusing at, interconnections, arcanas. And she hears a voice in her ear that says, "You think giving away a book will make you free of me? I am in your blood."
She has a reply, but she's going to keep it back.
Who got a Steam achievement?
Who the fuck?
You held back from speaking up to Mimo.
Yeah,
You stood your ground.
Apparently, you get an achievement for that.
Okay, everybody, thank you for coming by.
Yes, thank you for coming by. Let me read our going out. I'll drop our camera on the image of everyone kind of heading home, heading where they need to be, with the storm coming down around them. And let me just reopen my closing bit. Get out of my food, cat.
Affection comes with a price.
I have Chicky, and it's her favorite Chicky.
Oh, that would go.
All right.
What?
All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching us on YouTube or live on Twitch. Audience participation always means the world to us. And if you're on YouTube, smash the like, hit the subscribe, make a comment in the down below. Here at Dirty 20, we always sign out with the same call to action. Be nice, be kind when you have the spoons, but even when you're not, be nice. Be nice to strangers, be nice to family, be nice to your loved ones, and most of all, be nice to yourself. Thank you for coming on this journey with us. We won't see you next Sunday, but we will see you the Sunday after. We're taking a break over the next Sunday. So we will see you all in 2 weeks, where the story of the Shadow of the Wachtturm is going to press onwards. Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Good night.